said Trey's a guy who can make some bad shots, and you've spoken before about, the numbers maybe punching you guys in the face a little bit in terms of if you're forcing guys into a mid-range or a low percentage shot and they make it. So, I guess, how do you deal with that? Is there any way to force him into a shot or an area that you'd rather him take if he is such a skilled shot maker?
Yeah, his numbers are interesting because his spot up, he's like a .83, which is super pedestrian. He gets himself in trouble there, which is so counterintuitive. And his ball screen ball handler is a 1.041, which is that's in the top. I think it's the 91st percentile. It's really, really incredible, especially with his volume. So you kind of lean into those a little bit, but with him, you're going to be surprised by absolutely 0 times when he makes really tough shots. And so you go in knowing that, and you just try and exert the most pressure you can, and bring second defenders as much as you can. It's hard to do because they have so many other talented guys on the roster, but it's an issue. It's one of those things where you kind of walk into the game and you're like, well, we think these are 2 or 3 best case scenarios they could work out, and then you hope for the best.
Coach, I'm sure you already know, but I think Jasper would be a pretty good someone to ask about Trey since they played on the same team last year. But aside from Trey Johnson, what else does Texas do offensively or defensively that could cause you guys some trouble?
Well, they're really efficient. I mean, a couple things. One, they're a really, really well-rounded team. So I think they're 30 offensively and 40 defensively. They're really solid. They're very even that way. They're over a 1 point per possession as a team on the offensive end. They're really efficient. They have 4 or 5 guys that are over a 1 point per possession. They have, they have complementary pieces that they put together really well. Number 5, their starting center is a real short roll threat, a real threat around the rim. He'll make a shot from time to time. Number 6, transfer from Kansas State, is just a terrific talent, and he's an incredibly skilled and physical and versatile 4-man that can hurt you in a lot of different ways. Their starting 3 is incredible, physical, hungry scorer. And their point guard is a 1.4 points per possession plus assist guy. He's in the 97th percentile. So they're really well constructed. They pose a lot of problems. Together, they function well together.
Is there anything that you can take? I know it's different teams, but you played them last year. BYU, anything you can take from that game? How you guys shot so well in that game?
Well, it's I'm a little bit familiar with the kind of the makeup of the team. Personnel is way different. I mean, their best players are different, and they're actually different makeups. But in terms of philosophy and style, I think there's a little bit of familiarity there on both sides, for sure.
Coach, everybody talks about the SEC being the best conference in college basketball, but the conference is just 500 since conference play started. What do you make of that?
I think it's been a really disappointing start to conference play. I feel like we should, I feel like we're not living up to the expectations, just being at 500 as a conference. And I'm kind of looking around at the other programs in the league and be like, guys, we got to pick this up. This is embarrassing. And so we'll find a way. I believe in this league. I think we definitely have an upside. And we're going to work really hard to get there.
Mark, with the injuries you've had, your medical background, does that give you a different perspective than maybe other coaches? Because you maybe know a little bit about it from your background?
I think that it is, you always said this a bunch, but my greatest contribution to medicine was getting out. Saved a lot of lives that way. That's really true. And so I try and stay out of that side of it as much as I can, but I do understand some, terminology vaguely, and I have a little bit of background in it, but I'm definitely not the person you go to for a second opinion.
Mark, is there anything you can tell us on Lamont's status and maybe how he felt maybe the next day coming out of that game, and if he could possibly play Saturday night? Yeah,
it was not great, and so we're still kind of going day by day. We're trying some different treatments, and we're going to piece it together.
And then with Jackson, is that, I know you said maybe be a little while to see anything new with him?
Yeah, we'd actually did a third opinion for him yesterday. He's meeting with the best people in the world, as well as Lamont also is. And there's just, we're kind of in the taking in information, trying to figure out course of action, decisions to be made. And so they're both pretty complicated situations, timing wise and recovery wise. And there's also a little bit of a guessing part in terms of just the best medical treatment at the best time. They're both pretty serious injuries, and the guys are desperate to play, and they're desperate to get healthy, and they're short term and long term, and kind of balancing all those out with the calendar, not just for the season but for the summer and for next year. Is just all trying to fit all those pieces together, and then kind of see day by day what kind of returns they're getting from new medical treatments. It's that's kind of where we are right now. I know that's super vague, but that's I think we could potentially find some clarity on both those guys in the next couple of weeks. We'll see.
I know it's always difficult as a coach to see any player go through an injury, but is it even more so when they are fifth-year guys and going into their last year of college basketball and only have a month or two left?
Yeah, I think it's devastating. Actually, I'm so sad for them. Right, I'm sad for me. I'm sad for our team, but I'm sad for the guys. It's just, like you're right here. You're here at Kentucky. Like, we're in it. Like, you've done amazing things this season, and we have so much on the table right now that we can chase this year and that you could be a part of. And then, if it ends up, certainly in small ways, it's been taken from, several of those guys, but it just is, I just know how great it is. I know how it's like, it's what you've worked your whole life to have the chance to do this. And then it's just, something a little bit beyond your control starts to interfere, and that's it's hard. But it also, these experiences, whether it lasts for one game or whether it lasts for 2 months or a year, recovering from injury is also a way that we get to be challenged, like, to our core and grow and figure things out. But yeah, in the moment, I'm just, man, it kills me for our guys, for sure.
Mark, with Jax, was it, when you played on Saturday, was it something where he re-aggravated or made it worse, or was it more so testing it out and it just didn't go well?
No, it was just like, I'm not, there's no way I'm not playing in this game. I think under the circumstances, he was just there. It was a quick enough turnaround from kind of when he originally kind of felt the injury to be like, I can go gut this out. And then, and so I think that was just him being like, there's no way I'm missing, right? And so that was that line.
Coach, with the substitutions, it seems like in the first 4 minutes of the game, maybe even before the first media timeout, you like to make changes then. I was just wondering your philosophy behind doing that, and maybe why you like to pull guys out or switch things up so early in the game.
So a lot of times when you're thinking about rotations, especially when your roster is rediscovering itself, and that's probably not the right way to say it, but you're thinking about getting guys out so you can get them back in time to get somebody else out to kind of have some stability on the floor. So sometimes what's really nerve-wracking is when you play everybody kind of a normal 6 or 7 minute rotation, and then it's got to be a little bit of a wholesale change due to fatigue, and then you have just a boatload of inexperience on the floor all together at the same time. Not only inexperience, but also guys on the floor that are inexperienced and haven't felt that particular game yet, right? So a lot of times you cut 1 or 2 rotations short just to get new bodies in, so you can stagger a little bit, and so you can get those original guys back in sooner, so there can be maybe somebody's rotation is extra long and they can go in with fresh legs. So kind of monitoring all that is part of it, and there's always the unforeseen, how guys are playing, matchups, vibe, fouls, all that.
Coach, does the play of Travis and Trent kind of help you sleep a little bit easier at night, knowing Lamont and Jackson might be out for an extended period of time?
Yeah, I mean, come on, we have those, and Colin Chandler also I thought was really good in his minutes. Those three guys, it's just time for them to step up and be great, and we're relying heavily on them, and that's what they want, and it's what we want, and it's awesome. So I have a lot of confidence in those guys, and it's just time for us to be better. I thought all three of them were spectacular on Saturday, and we expect her on Tuesday, or what day is it? Someday, and we expect them to be great this weekend also.
Is it safe to?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Talk about back to what you said about the challenges with injuries. I heard a football coach say one time, when you have an important player hurt, it doesn't take the coaches off the hook. It puts them on the hook because they got to figure things out,
Yeah.
how to do that. Is that what you mean by challenges as far as the coaching staff is concerned?
Yeah,
What are those challenges like?
Well, it's you know, there's so many variables as you consider you get to know your team. Like, you get to understand your team, and then you get to know your team in different environments, against different styles of play, against different opponents, against different matchups, against different, all those things. And so the most unsettling thing for a coach, I think, when you're having roster turnover is you kind of have to reinvent, and you're not even sure exactly which parts you have to reinvent. You're making your best guess, but you don't have any data points in terms of kind of, sometimes you get surprised, like, man, of all the things I thought I was going to have to reinvent, I didn't think it was going to be this little space, right? And so that's the beauty of a season, is over the course of a season, you're just gathering more information about your guys, about how they function together, about how they are in different environments, at home, on the road, and neutral, against a team that's heavy pressure, against a team with a ton of size, against a team that's super skilled or shoots it well. And so you're taking in all this information, and then it just adds to the variables, right? Which is fun. Also, it's getting new guys in new situations. So one of the things that's really challenged us is even though it's maybe been only one position, the loss of one position has made everybody play a different position than what you originally had, kind of where you're first doing data collection. And it makes it fun, and you have a chance and a necessity to be super creative, and also discovering the guys that have growing responsibilities, kind of helping them through the process of the new responsibilities that they're going to carry. And we spent a lot of time today whittling down our playbook, reevaluating, for example, how we can enter offense different ways where we're not demanding too much new information. We're not, our guys are not having to think too much on the court, because that's never great for the way we play, but also where they can be successful in a really limited kind of game plan, play call sheet, and all that's it's part of the game. It's not an anomaly. It's part of what you go through every single season, and it's intellectually challenging and stimulating, and it's emotionally taxing and fantastic. Right? It's great. It's good stuff.